Candy Kelly here. Welcome to this week's episode of ThinkTank Thursday from TrainerTainment. I'm so excited to be here. Before I jump in, let's give a shout out to our 2024 sponsors. We've got Betson Distributing, we have BMI Merchandise, Roller, Embed, Expert Hosiery, Simnox, and Delta Strike. We appreciate all of their support, and their support is what allows us to bring you new episodes each and every week. So you guys should love them too. As we all know, TrainerTainment likes to take a little bit of time away from all the doing and spend some time thinking on Thursdays. And this week, it's a great topic. How many of you guys who are operating or have operated a business, when you look back, when you are thinking of those plans, say, man, I wish I had known ... Well, those are the things we're going to be talking about today with Amber Lambert. Amber Lambert is a sales rep from Betson, and she has opened and owned her own family entertainment center. She also worked for a corporate family entertainment center before she came and did game card sales and now game sales. And so definitely has the experience to talk about the things that she wished she would have known before she opened the doors to her family entertainment center. So let's jump in and see how we can grow today. Amber, welcome to Think Tank. For those who may not know who you are, please take a minute to introduce yourself and what your role is at Betson.
So most people know who Betson is. We're a game and vending distributor. We've been doing it for 90 years. Not me personally, but in general, we're a family-owned business. I've been in the industry for 17 years now. Oh, so long. But yeah, I started with my own family entertainment center. I worked for a corporate-owned family entertainment center. And after that, I worked for a game card system company, and now Betson. I'm a sales rep technically, but I don't look at myself that way. I'm an operator first.
From the game cards to the actual games themselves. So I invited you on Think Tank because of a blog that you put out on Betson. It's called Stuff I Wish I Knew Before I Started My Entertainment Center. And I thought, what a great blog, because there's so many people who are starting. We have a tremendous growth. I'm sure you see the trends of new places that are being opened and going to a lot of the industry events. There's a lot of dreamers out there, or people who are in real estate or in funding or any of those things. And so such a great topic to talk about. And so I just want to jump into some of the things that you highlighted in there. And this first one that comes up is about a game tech, which is interesting because you go from game cards to games. And I have to be honest that I do feel like game techs are overlooked in the planning stages of new centers. And so tell me why you think having a skilled game tech is crucial for the success of a business.
So going into the industry, I had no idea that, new games would break. I had no idea that, that they were, I don't know. I had no idea. And so I didn't start with a game tech. And I learned quickly that, you've got this very expensive piece of equipment that is supposed to be generating revenue. If it's broken, it generates zero revenue. And sometimes negative revenue. Sometimes they put the, black eye on your place because you got this dead game. So it makes your place look old and dated. And, so I actually ended up opening with no games. I had a whole arcade that nobody could play because I bought a bunch of used games from somebody, and there was no keys that were sent. I didn't, I was so unprepared when I opened. It was terrible. It was probably the biggest lesson I learned. But trying to find a game tech was difficult. But after being in the business a while and talking to other people, this is literally the most important person in your industry or in your company. If you're in the arcade business, it's more important than your GM, more important than you. Like, that person is going to make you money. That's like having a good accountant.
There's a direct ROI right there, right? Like,
yes,
game produces revenue. There's a direct line to what the revenue is for that person.
Yes.
You mentioned that you didn't realize new games could break. What are some of the common issues that you found with even brand new games might face? And how could a game tech allow you to get through that obstacle faster?
Well, just like anything, they don't make things like they used to, right? Like your Chevy or Ford is not the old metal that it's made, So it's everything. It's from cars to household items to clothes,
Mhm.
everything's a little more disposable than it used to be. They're trying to keep prices down, and so and it's a very large piece of equipment that is being beaten on by little children. So it's, I mean,
Yeah.
things will break. So being prepared, having parts on hand, having a skilled game tech can make a huge difference. Like having a tech that can change out a board versus having a tech that can change out a component on a board can save you a ton of money. So the more skilled game tech you have, you should pay that person accordingly. Like that person will save you a lot of money.
So game techs are important. How do you find them? It's not something you go to school for. And I know that Betson does like some classes and boot camps to help after you find somebody who you think has the right kind of skill set. You can send them to like Betson Technical University, and there's some other ones out there in the industry. But what are you looking for when you're looking for a game tech?
So, I looked at a lot of tech schools. Sometimes you can find young kids. You want to, it's difficult to find somebody that can work on the electronics as well as the mechanical side, because you got computer guys, but they can't use a hammer, so they can't fix like the mechanical parts. And then you got the like construction guys that can't fix the computer parts. So finding that perfect guy that can do both. And then if you can find one that's actually personable as well, that's not really that techy, it's like the unicorn that you're looking for. But and there are some out there. They can be trained, so you find somebody that is interested, you can train them. um I wouldn't say this too loud, but you can look at your competitors. Maybe they have somebody that works there that's not very happy. So there's places to look, but it's very hard. So when you find that person, you just have to pay them appropriately and make sure that they're happy in their job.
Um, and take advantage of all of those like Betson Technical University and all of those things, because games are changing too. Like I remember used to, you could with a key, I could almost fix just about any game because it was just a couple of wires in there. They have gotten a lot more computerized. And so just like marketing or any other field that we don't need to neglect the fact that game techs have to stay on top of the trends of how the games are being created as well, and keep investing and coaching into their knowledge. And then you get employee loyalty, right? Because you're investing in them and what they like.
Right. I mean, if you're thinking about poaching other people, your competitors are also going to be looking at your game tech if you have a good one. So when you have a good one, hang on to them. Make sure they stick around.
There are two shallow pools I know in our industry. Game techs, that's a really shallow pool of really good ones. And bowling mechanics, really good bowling mechanics is another shallow pool there.
I'm actually still in touch with all of my game techs that used to work for me.
That's awesome. You in your article, you or your blog post, you talked about shipping parts smartly. Seems to be one of the best strategies that you wish you would have learned a little bit faster. And when you're operating our entertainment center, tell me why shipping is so important and how it impacts the revenue, and then more importantly, while we're all here, the guest satisfaction of the people who are coming to visit and experience your center.
Well, paying shipping stinks no matter what. Like it just does, especially if you have to overnight or second day air or whatever. But if you get to a point where you know how much, let's say your big bass wheel makes over a weekend, then you know how much you're going to lose if that game is down over that weekend. So if that number is more than the cost of the shipping, then you bite the bullet and overnight that part and get your game working. Ideally, having parts on hand is the best way because you can turn things quickly. So, we offer parts packages, things like that, where we know, hey, these are the most commonly broken parts. If we ship them all to you at once, you only pay one shipping instead of nickel and diming on the shipping. And then, you have those on hand, you can quickly get a game working. But just like I said at the beginning, a game that's not working makes you $0. And if a game couldn't be fixed before the weekend when you're getting busy, get it off the floor. Having a game out of service on your floor, just, it looks awful.
I know I have this thing with businesses when they run out of hand soap and you can see that they went to like the local grocery store and bought like the whatever off brand of pump hand soap. I don't know why it drives me nuts. And I'm like, just at least buy nice ones if you have to do that, but like don't buy the thing like I'm going out. I don't want to see the things that I see in my own
Dollar
bathroom.
store.
Yeah, I don't know. You talked about games and fixing them. Sometimes a game is no longer worth it, and that may be for different reasons. It could be it's not the right demographic for your arcade and it's not making the amount that it was making. It could be that it breaks too often. But I find that there are a lot of operators who will hang on to not performing games for a really long time. So what guidelines did you set for yourself? And now that you're in this, with the games, what guidelines or questions do you ask that help them feel good about that? Hey, it's time. I know you invested X amount of money in this game, but it's time to move on for this and resell it or buy something new.
So I like to, put it like a used car analogy, right? So when you buy a car, you lose some value driving off the lot, right? You buy a new
Yep.
car, it's then used. You run it for a couple years, it's got 50,000 miles, you trade it in, you get a pretty decent value. If you run it for 300,000 miles and it's 10 years old, you get almost nothing. Sometimes you have to pay them to take it off your hands. So if you have like an old Yugo, it's, and that's what some of the games out on the market are. It's still running, right? But it's just not worth anything. And so if you can trade it in before it starts depreciating, then you have like half your money going back into another game. So that's additional income or revenue on top of what you made off that game. So, you make your ROI and get rid of the game while it still has a secondary market to sell it to. And then you keep your game room refreshed. So you look at the bottom 10 or 15% earners and you recycle them, get rid of them, don't just sit on them. And sometimes less is more. Sometimes you can remove 3 or 4 dogs off your floor and your entire game room will go up in revenue. So, sometimes you're hanging on to that one old game because it's still making $100 a week, no, get rid of it.
I would be amiss if I didn't give you the floor to talk a little bit about Betson has I have a proprietary program where they come in the Betson Wellness Program and help you from a real data-driven standpoint, like just look at your games and know how they're all producing where they should be, and if they're underproducing, some decisions. Talk a little bit about that, how often you do that with clients. Because I think it's one of the best programs out there. So anytime I can give you the floor, I will for that.
Yes. So our wellness program will do this for anybody, even if you're not a Betson customer. So if you
I don't think I realized that.
Yeah. So if you want us to look at your game room reports, happy to do that. So you would send us like a 6-week report. We want at least a 6-week window. And then we would go through and say, hey, this pricing, it might be off compared to the standard, or, this one's not paying out enough tickets. Sometimes we can even spot like, theft and things like that through, your employee plays. We say, oh, you might want to adjust something here or there. But we can also say, hey, this one might be worth looking at getting rid of, or, maybe you have something like a King of Rings that's just killing it. Maybe you need a second one. So if it's making too much money, then you maybe need a second one of that type of game. So, without it would increase your revenue without it taking money away from the other one.
Yeah, I when I heard about the Betson Wellness Program, because I do think there's a science behind games, just like there's a science behind merchandising and bars, and that people, and just because you decided to open a family entertainment center, all that expertise isn't just going to dump in your head because you woke up and said, I'm going to open a center, which is what you learned and why you wrote this blog here. So to have that expertise at your fingertips, to not utilize it seems crazy to me. And so I tell everybody, I'm like, if you're unsure if your game room's doing good, Betson will help you.
Yeah, and most of the time, most of my customers, I suggest they do it once or twice a year,
Okay.
Just to keep an eye. Sometimes we'll do it more often. So if they had to make a lot of changes, a lot of, tweaks to the pricing, But even if they want to send like their kiosk, what their different values are, sometimes we can find ways to get their ROI or their, per cap price up. To get people to spend a little more by removing like the lowest value on their kiosk, or different things like that. So there's just most of the people, at least that I've talked to in our business, they have so much knowledge and they're so willing to share it. So just reach out.
I can only imagine how helpful you can be out in the field, Amber, thinking about about the kiosk and the game cards and all of those tricks to get the best per cap there, and then now applying it to the games too. It's like combining these two forces.
I love it. It's like I feel like a grandma where it's like my grandchildren, but I can give them back at the end of the day when they're stinky, so.
So this next tip comes if you're in the design phase more, or revamp phase, planning space for game techs and stock of redemption goods. Man, storage is something that's always in high demand and we never have enough of. But why do you think it's important? How much space do you think they should consider if they can carve out some of the space for them?
I see plans all the time that don't consider any of that, and it's just mind-boggling. I remember having to move redemption boxes upstairs because I didn't have a very good storage space near the redemption area. So that's super important. But like I said, if you're trying to get your games that aren't working off your game floor and you're constantly moving games in and out, you have to have a space that has double doors,
Double doors.
It's something, the games are not getting any smaller. So to move games back into a tech area to work on, you need space for that. Don't put your game tech in a closet. Like, you don't want to work in a closet, right? Make it a nice space for them to work, so they don't get poached by your competitor. Give them tools and a tool bench and, make it fun.
You just said games aren't getting smaller. When I first started tracking what was applied per game square footage and layouts, I think it was right around 55 or 60. I heard 75 this week.
Yeah.
75 square feet per game. That is 15 square feet growth since I started tracking that number.
They are huge.
Yeah. So, we are through the different events that we go to. There are a lot of dreamers out there and planners and people who are putting themselves in a position to open a family entertainment center, hopefully in the next couple of years. What advice would you offer to aspiring family entertainment center offers who may be facing challenges, or what considerations would you say start thinking about this now, don't wait?
I would say networking is the best thing. Go talk to other, operators, owners, talk to vendors. Like, we're not all, salesy people, some of us have morals and we really want you to be successful. And so, I'll tell people the truth no matter what, whether it benefits me or not. So, ask for help, ask other owners and operators what they've been successful with, but ask them what they've also struggled with. Like that, like you said, you learn more from failures than successes. So just, hey, what was the biggest mistake you made in your business, or what was your biggest struggle? And then learn the difference between price and value. I say that's huge. Cheapest isn't always the best, and sometimes it costs you more in the long run. You save a bunch of money by buying all those used games that aren't working when you open. That costs you thousands of dollars. Like, I could have bought those games 3 times over had I just bought new games. And so
I wish I could find what the monetary formula is for first impression. How much is a first impression worth in a family entertainment center?
Yes. And yeah, I mean, you'll pay the price if you're just looking for the cheapest. It doesn't always save you. I'm a price shopper, but it's sometimes it's better not to clip the coupon.
And with value comes not just the product itself. What expertise does the company that's providing that product bring to you too? How much are they going to support you in the future, or free resources do they have that help you be better in this area? I like, what is the reputation? How long have they been here? Because you've been around for 17 years. I've been around for about 2 decades. I don't want to say that. Like, I've seen companies come and then they disappeared and there's no support offered for their product at all. And yes, it was going to be more expensive to buy from an established company of some kind, but I get support. I know they're going to be here tomorrow. I know that they can help me find the right product, and that value is more than just what I will find my check for to buy that.
And know who you're getting your advice from, because I've seen, some people give advice on social media and different platforms that I'm like, they probably shouldn't be giving advice, or, like, you just don't, know that you're talking to somebody that has been there and done that and has been successful or not successful and is being truthful with you, so I think that's really important.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing these things. I'm sure every person who has an operating business in our industry right now has at least a couple of things that they wish they would have known beforehand or would have changed, whether it was in the design or in the decisions they made in opening. I don't think there's anyone who did it perfectly, and we are all here to learn from one another. It's time for our signature question, and we flip it up. So last time you were here, I asked about yourself, but this time I'm going to ask, what are you doing on a consistent basis to grow others?
I'm doing this. I'm sharing info. I'm working on a new segment called Amber Answers, where people can ask questions anonymously. And then, I'll get them the answers. So it may be you may get my 2 cents, but I may people that, I don't know everything. So I just want to give back to people and love sharing and meeting people.
Love it. And then, of course, the most important question I can ever ask is, where can people connect and learn more about you or Betson?
Yeah, like I said last time, we are everywhere. I'm on all the social medias. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. Connect with me, call me, text
all the
me,
industry events,
all the stuff. Yeah, I'll be at all the events. So find me and say hi. I'm pretty easy to talk to.
All right. Well, thank you for spending your time with us today, and I can't wait till next time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Didn't you learn so much? Definitely, I agree with Amber that game techs are often overlooked when we're making the plans for our opening of our new center. So she mentioned in that article the Betson Wellness Program. I just want to highlight that she said it's for everybody. You don't have to be a Betson customer to take advantage of that. And I honestly believe it's one of the best programs out there to see if your game and arcade area are performing at their maximum capacity. So check out the Betson Wellness Program, contact Amber, get her to look at your 6 weeks and see maybe what changes you can make so that we can all be successful together. Thank you again, Amber, for offering that out. Also, thank you to the rest of my 2024 digital sponsors. As we say all the time, we love them. We only partner with the best in the business, as you can see from the interviews that we bring you. And then if you have a Think Tank idea, if you would like to be a guest on Think Tank, or you'd like to sponsor a Think Tank episode, please don't hesitate to reach out, candy@trainertainment.net. Let me know what you want and we can hook it up. Also, be sure to check out where you can connect with us in real life. TrainerTainment is always on the move and on the grow. So all of our events and appearances can be found on our website, TrainerTainment.net, under our events menu. And then always, you guys are the most important. So thank you to the audience for tuning in to today's episode. We are committed at TrainerTainment to the growth journey. And so through that, we want to help you and your company thrive. We believe that you grow your people to grow your business. And so visit TrainerTainment.net, learn more about how maybe we can support your growth journey. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep being awesome. Bye, guys.